used to think I needed motivation. I thought the reason I wasn't changing was because I hadn't found the right video, the right quote, the right morning where I'd finally wake up feeling different. But motivation never stayed. It always left. And every time it did, I went back to being the same person. That's when I started looking at people who never seemed to stop. Not because they were motivated, because they were obsessed. And there's a difference. Motivation asks, do I feel like it today? Obsession doesn't even ask the question. It simply continues. That's what reminded me of someone. Not because he was perfect, not because I wanted to become him, but because he stopped letting emotions decide how much effort he gave. When he stepped onto the field, everything else disappeared. The score, the crowd, the pressure. Only one thing left, getting better. I think people misunderstand obsession. They imagine someone who never sleeps, someone who never smiles, someone who's destroying themselves. But that's not the kind of obsession I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind that quietly changes your identity. The kind where improving isn't something you schedule, it's just who you are. I stopped chasing motivation, and something strange happened. I started protecting my standards instead, because motivation tells you to work when it feels exciting. But standards, they don't care how you feel. Think about a football. It's just a ball. But in the hands of someone obsessed, it becomes a language. Every touch means something. Every mistake gets remembered. Every training session becomes another piece of who they are. And I realized, the same thing can happen with your own life. You don't wake up disciplined. You become the type of person who feels uncomfortable when they don't improve. That's the shift. Not chasing motivation, but reaching the point where staying the same feels worse than the work itself. I've had days where I wanted to quit. Days where progress felt invisible. Days where nothing seemed worth it. But I stopped asking, do I feel motivated? I started asking, who am I becoming if I stop now? That question never failed me. Maybe that's what obsession really is. Not an emotion, a decision you make so many times that eventually it becomes your identity. So don't wait for motivation. It'll leave. It always does. Build something that stays after the feeling disappears. Because when effort becomes part of who you are, you stop chasing progress, you become it. Anyway, if this made you think differently, there's another video on this channel that goes even deeper. I'd watch that next.